Hello and welcome to the Juggling Podcast. It's the Patreon exclusive, although this one is not exclusive because we're literally doing it as a live stream on YouTube.
Yes.
My name is Luke Burridge. Joining me today is...
Juliane.
Juliane. Say hello, Juliane.
Hello, everyone.
We normally do a better introduction than that, but
do.
we're getting distracted by looking at ourselves here on the live stream. This live stream, as you can tell from if you're actually watching the live stream, it's about the top 40 jugglers of 2021 as voted by you, as this big screen says over here. We've got some people watching along in the chat. Ivan Dragso says it's 720p. It looks okay, but not great. That's the best my computer can do. I've got a 6-year-old computer. That's the best it can do at the moment.
Hello, Ivan.
And we've got some other people there as well. It's this is the live stream, and it's also the podcast. So at the start of all our juggling podcasts, what we have is we say thank you to our Patreon supporters. So let's quickly do that now. Thank you very much to Andreas and Sid and Matt and Hendrik and Joel and Kathy and Chris and Flo and Taylor, a new Patreon supporter this month at the $10 level. Thank you very much. Mark and Bethany Green, who happens to be my sister. She's decided to do it. Juliane, thank you very much, Juliane.
I'm still supporting
Patreon
you.
supporter. We also have Michael, Cool Beans, Craig, Lee, Mark, Jeremy, Greg, Keith, Yuli, Rafa, Zach, thank you very much, Pierre, and then I think from there it's, lots of other €1 or $1 or £1 a month supporters. But to all of our people who support us, thank you so much for supporting us, especially this month, because in case you don't know, the top 40 jugglers takes a lot of time and a lot of effort, and it's not just about the Patreon support money coming in, which makes it worth my time, because all of those people all give a certain amount, a few hundred a month it helps a lot, because I'm currently not working due to coronavirus. But really, it's just a great incentive, knowing people are out there who care enough to give me $1 or $2 or $5 or $25 a month makes a huge difference to me, and really makes my work as a juggler and my creative output, my content, as you say, feel well valued.
Yes, I also think it's just good to, like, if we're sitting at home the whole day, like we're not going places. I'm going from my bedroom and living room to my office, and it's so nice to know that there's a world with people who want to see what you are doing.
Yeah. And
the support on Patreon is just showing that, and it is so helpful, and I'm so happy about your generosity out there. Thank you so much.
Yes, so if you're not a Patreon supporter and you're listening to this or watching this on YouTube, you can head over to patreon.com/Luke Burridge and check it out there, and you can support our juggling projects and other things, but mostly juggling. That's what it's mostly set up for. So let's get into it. Juliane, we're going to talk today about the top 40 jugglers of 2021.
Yes.
We'll take some questions for the chat room, so if you've got any questions there watching live, put them in the chat. We'll answer every question over the next 45 minutes that we get.
Yeah.
Every single question, and so if you've got any, and generally I just want to talk about the process this year and who we voted for, and maybe go through each one of the little video clips that we wanted to do so. Yeah. So top 40 jugglers of the year, as you can see by the screen over. It's always confusing because it's not quite mirror-like. As you can see, I made this little thumbnail up just from bits and pieces of clips there, which is fine, but you got I was looking for some kind of like young people to be on the clip. I don't actually know how young any of those people are, but I've made it now myself to 19 years on the chart.
Well done.
So it's just
Anyone
me.
else?
Yeah, Wes Peden's on the chart for like 17 years or 16 years as well. So in fact, what I should do is I should open the spreadsheet and put it up on a screen here, so we can check it out. But what I'd like to do is first of all go through who you voted for. You've got a list here as well.
I have a list.
So let's see who you voted for this year, and I'll talk about who I voted for this year.
All right.
So first up, who did you vote for?
I voted for Ivan.
Ivan, you got to say the full name if possible.
Dragso.
Ivan Dragso, who was just watching in the chat, he was disparaging our 720p streaming setup. But
No,
and you've got to say why as well. Why did you vote for him?
Because he does fun juggling tricks, and he did the juggling news program on YouTube, and we enjoyed watching that.
Yeah.
And I think...
And that's all it takes. The thing is, this year, because there hasn't been any juggling festivals or any events that people can go to and identify with, except for maybe, like, there was, like, the EJC show, which I don't know. I didn't bother watching it.
EJC, yeah.
Virtual conventions don't really replace... for me, full like gatherings, but the community providing events or things that can point focus in places can really work out.
Yep.
So yeah, Ivan's juggling news. I didn't vote for him, but you know, if I was going to vote for someone like that, I would have done it. Okay, next up,
Luke Burridge.
Okay.
Do I really have to tell people why I voted for you?
Yeah, if you want to.
All right.
You can say who.
You have put this year a really big effort into building the magnet machine.
Machine.
And I think
get me out the house a bit.
Yes, it got you out the house, and also it made it so my parents had also just built a new shed where you can work, and I really like that you got the motivation this year to do a project towards your juggling.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that. And I think it's a great machine. I think I really want to see it in action once you can go on stage again to show it to people.
Oh, a routine is a routine like that is ready to go. Like one of the routines is ready to go. But to work on it more, I definitely feel like I need to have a residency, as I was saying before. Like I can lock myself in a room which isn't your parents' shed or isn't your parents' living room when your parents are there. You know, I need to be able to do that. So okay, next up, who is the next person?
Sophia Altmans.
Why Sophia Altmans?
Because I enjoy following her on Instagram. I follow her professional Instagram account and also her private Instagram account.
Yeah,
and
the not juggling Sophia.
She brings a smile to my face regularly with what she posts, and I think she's a really good juggler. And we had in the past at some conventions we had conversations about routines, and I just love seeing her develop new routines, and that's just a reason for me to put her
She's
on my
now
list.
working with the Seven Fingers show, and I think on the Virgin Cruise Lines, the first Virgin Cruise Line ship.
She posts pictures of like, I'm in the Dominican Republic,
I know.
I'm in the Bahamas.
You should be friends with lots of people on cruises. The people who went out now. I mean, some like half of them are all quarantined and on these plague ships that are being turned away from these places. Anyway, next up you have
all right, Katrin Wagner.
Yeah.
I love what she does with the rings, and I want to support her just as she's going currently through the discovering of new shows and creation processes, and I love what she does. I also like that she does spoken word integration, and I like that approach.
Okay, next up.
All right, Kuta
Ohashi, yes. We very much enjoyed his ball juggling videos on YouTube this year, haven't we?
Yes, it's I love the kind of I don't know how you say that. It's a kind of like a simple approach, but it's complex.
Yeah.
Like in the style, and I love the style and the way that he films his little videos. It's very clean and neat, and I just love it. Also, I love the exploration with few things. I'm really the opposite of sometimes you. I'm not so much into the big, like.
What do you mean?
How many?
I'm into the small things
objects.
as well.
Yes, I know, but you can be more excited about the 10-ball world record.
Kuta Ohashi. Next up, you have
Emma Hernell.
Why did you vote for Emma?
Because I'm impressed with the Bramson challenge she did this year.
It's been a lot of fun.
52nd week, is it
now?
now?
52 weeks.
52 weeks of a different Bramson roll, which, to be honest, I don't always see the difference in the Bramson rolls.
Some of them,
just like it's
some of them when they're doing
back.
this one and they grab it there and do that one, and sometimes they do it that way and they grab it there, and I'm like, didn't you do that in week 32 or something? Yeah, it's not just been Emma. It's half of them has been Mark Williams from New Zealand as well. He's
and I like that as well, because it is a world-spanning thing.
They switch between who sets the challenge each week.
Yes, and it's international, and I love it. And I want to support that. So the next one is Stanislav Wysotsky. I'm just always so impressed with his skill and his foot juggling. It's just, I don't know, it's otherworldly to me how somebody can just pick up like balls from the ground and just and catches the balls.
He had a great Tricks of the Month video.
He did.
There's actually quite a high ratio of people who had Tricks of the Month videos, or maybe put it this way, people who are in the list who also had Tricks of the Month. He didn't make it this year, but quite a few people voted for him.
Yes. I did. So next person is Rabia Ahmadi.
Okay, I didn't see anything that she did this year.
No, of course not, because the Taliban took over Afghanistan, and that has a big influence.
That's what I was going to build to.
What you do, and so I wanted to show support. I don't know how else to support. It's a really tricky situation, but that's why I think what she does is really, really cool. And I like to show support just by putting her out on the list.
Yeah.
The next person is Artu Latinen.
Artu, who did some really nice ring juggling. I mean, that's what he does. Yeah. But really nice ring juggling.
The style and the minimalist approach, and it's the way, like, just go and check out his Instagram account. It's like everything is always perfectly framed, and it's so artistic, and I just love that.
Yeah. So talking of Artu, I did an Instagram post. I've been teaching some juggling workshops. I've been teaching 3 people how to juggle as students, and I uploaded this video. Can you see it over here? I'm not even sure if you can see it. So it's just a little clip of some ring juggling, and this is made exactly after watching Artu Latinen's ring juggling video, and I was like, all right, I'm going to teach them ring grind. So I taught my students this one, and then that went on to get 6,388 views, which was my most viewed video on all of Instagram that I'd posted, up until, of course, the top 40 jugglers that I posted. And then, yes, the views got a bit crazy because suddenly the second one got 8,000 views. Yes. And what was another one which suddenly got a lot of views as well? I can't remember. Yeah. Oh yeah, this one. Oh no, not that one. I don't remember which one it was, but like suddenly this one gets 13,000 views. Yeah. I think of course the one which most views is 18,000 by Wes. So up until I actually posted the top 40 jugglers, my most viewed videos on Instagram was
big rings.
Was directly inspired by Artu Latinen. Okay, and your last number 10 that you voted for?
Ariane Oexner.
Okay, and she made it onto the chart as well.
She did.
Yeah. It's fun following along with her projects as well.
Yeah, it's really great. I like what she does, and she did another interesting project in Vienna where she does research about circus in history and in like just generally in World War II era, and like all the kind of past circus kind of things and other research she does, and it's really great because it's eye-opening and it's interesting to talk about these things as well.
Cool. All right then. So those are your top 10, and like half of those managed to get into the top 40, which is pretty good.
It's a
pretty good return on event.
Shall we say hi to some people here?
Oh yeah. Ivan says, haha, thank you for you voting for him, I guess. We also have Bo Juggler. He says, we are late. Hi. So he's waving there as well.
Not late.
No. Well,
a little bit.
A little bit late. Don't worry. All we're doing at the start of this is telling you who we voted for and why, because it's a nice, fun thing for us to share. That's the whole point of the top 40 jugglers, is to kind of like say who you voted for, turn a little bit of vision in those places. So don't worry about it. So also, yes, I see the questions there as well. Colloq59 posted a question, and we will get to the questions in a bit. So if you're in the chat room and you've got any question at all, please post the questions right there in the chat, and we will get to them when we get to the Q&A section of the chat. So I've actually got my notes document over here. I want to just say of who I voted for, a few people I didn't vote for who get an honourable mention. Wes Peden had one of my favourite videos out this year with lemons. I almost voted for Bo Juggler, who is there in the chat. Bo, I almost voted for you, but didn't quite. Very close, but didn't. And also Zach McAllister, I really enjoyed his stuff. I'm actually a supporter of Zach McAllister on Patreon, so go across to patreon.com/ I guess Zach McAllister. I'm not sure what I do. So,
but only after you go to.
Wait, don't worry, because Zach McAllister supports. We both support each other on Patreon because I don't know, it's good to spread the love around. So so my final votes were let's go with the women first, just because that's how I've ordered them here, just for ease of counting. I also voted for Emma Hornell from Switzerland, from Sweden. And after they did that, I got this message on Instagram saying, "Hey, I'm a show producer in Switzerland. Who's the best female juggler in Sweden? Because I want to book them for the show." And I was like Emma? Maybe? And she's like, maybe. And I was like, oh, okay. If not Emma will know. So maybe just get in contact with Emma. Don't get in contact with me. I'm not somebody's agent. So I also voted for Zaila, whose name I spelled incorrectly here.
Yes.
Zaila Avant-Garde.
No, that's still wrong.
Nobody can see it except us. Zaila Avant-Garde, because I really enjoyed like the energy that she, like, since last year. I saw lots of people voting for her last year. She was like in the top 50 jugglers of the year last year in terms of votes counted, and I was like, yeah, that would be really great to see her.
And she made it this year.
And she made it this year with a bullet, as they
Absolutely.
say, all the way up to number 30. So next up is another young American juggler who is, I think, Zaila is like 15, 16 or whatever she is, like still a teenager. Also, there's Miriam Ahmed, who is from Texas. And she does this really smooth ball juggling, obviously influenced by, there's a bit of Taylor Glenn stuff in there. But yeah, she does really fun stuff. And again, as someone who this year was teaching some new jugglers, I was really, like, at the end of the year especially, I was really dialed in to who is doing some style of juggling which I'm going to be able to take inspiration from to teach 3 new jugglers who couldn't even juggle 3 balls when I started them, and are now getting 6,000 views on in October, and now get 6,000 views on Instagram videos, and it's good to follow along. And Miriam really was a handy inspiration. Catherine Wagner, because I like rings and she's a good ring juggler and a friend, to be honest, a friend. And also Taylor Glenn as well, because I really enjoyed her Tricks of the Month video that she put out at the end of the year. I think it was like November, December time. Fantastic video. It's almost as though she's a video production specialist professional.
She does that really well. Yeah.
And it's really great. Over to the men, because it's a maximum of 5 women, 5 men. I also voted for Kuta Ohashi with his ball juggling goodness. I voted for Louis Casson from South Africa for his weird club juggling tricks. It really felt like, I knew he was doing this kind of stuff and I was watching along, but there was two guys who really delighted me with their club juggling this year, and that was Louis and Kellen Quinn, who both I voted for, because it felt like, I wasn't keeping up with them, but it felt like at a time when I was doing the Tricks of Day May and Kellen was doing Smash Tech. He started the Smash Tech just after. So what do you messaging, asking me about, like, what do I call it when the clubs collide in the end. He wanted to make Smash Tech a thing as well, and Louis too. Just again, I'm not saying I was with them because I only did 1 month of crazy club juggling, and they just kept it up all the way through, and I was like, oh, this is great. I'm just getting like daily crazy club video stuff, which is never about like, hey, I can do a pirouette and a back cross or anything. It's more like that nobody has ever made 2 clubs come together in this orientation before, and I am doing it, so great. Yes, keep the questions in the chat coming along, no problem. Who else have I got here? Oni Toivonen for his Birdhead video, which is probably my favorite club juggling video, or my favorite video of the year. And also Kaito Tanioka, who at the start of the year, right back in January, did a 7 club trick, which was so crazy that I was like, I need to make a video about like the biggest tricks of the year. And that was after some people said, like, after the top 40 jugglers was like more controversial last year. And people are like, oh, it's not about the better. People finally realized after me saying for like, however many years in a row, since 2008, Decades. Since I started doing like videos where I say, this is the voting video, almost every single year I'm saying it's not about who's best, it's just about whose juggling you enjoyed. And he did a crazy trick, but some people were like, that inspired me to actually get off my ass and make a video about just the biggest tricks. And I've actually started another video project for this year as well. What are the biggest tricks in 2021 or of the recent year? So I'll be releasing that probably in the first week of January, and that'll always and if I do that in the future, I'll do like a what am I trying to say? Like maybe that'll become a yearly thing where I, you give a gold star to the person who does the biggest 7 club trick or whatever. At the end of the year, Kaito Tanioka showed 15 club passing as well with him and his brother.
That's crazy. Yeah.
So those guys, Kaito and Kendo, but of course Kaito just made it because he inspired a video. So that's it, really. Those are my top 10, and all of them I think made it into the top 40. I have the benefit of being like the last person to vote because I do my last votes and then close the voting. So I generally just pick my top top 10 from the people who I already know are probably going to be in the top 10, because I don't want my vote to be the vote which like bumps somebody up or bumps somebody out by accident. So I make sure that my vote isn't the vote that is like changing orders too much. So that's something that I like to do.
So do you do a list over the year, like where you like have a note where you put in names that you find, like people where you find you watched a video that you found interesting in March, and then you put their name down?
I do
over the year.
I do. I have. Well, this year I had a note called top 40 considerations. I think actually that was. I think that became the note there. So that was the note. If I looked at when I first made this note, that's when it was last updated. So this Apple Note that I have here was it. So
I think that's a good way of not being too influenced by the people who just put stuff later in the year, because then you're like, this is the stuff that you remember really, really well.
Well, that's why I put Kaito in there right at the start of it, and also Birdhead, and as the tricks came, and Lemons by Wes Peden, they went in there. I considered them. Some of them made it in, and some of them didn't. But that's it. So let's get on to just a little bit about the process of how I set up the voting this year and did the vote counting and things. If people watched the live stream last year, we talked for quite a long time about that. But I was trying to think of what's good and bad about the system that we had last year, and which is the difference, the new rule that I brought in last year in 2020, which was the idea of having each person could vote for a maximum of 5 male jugglers and 5 female jugglers. With the edge cases falling in, being people can work their way around the edge cases, and it was a huge big thing, and I think that contributed to last year being the most voted for chart, and you had to have so many votes to get on there. But that meant that when Delaney Bayliss won, she won by like the largest gap in the future, and it might be because people are like, oh, I only want to vote for a woman who is equal to, like, who would get my male votes and stuff. I don't want to go into it that much, but someone's leaving already in the chat.
So why did you decide to keep that
this
year?
Here's the thing. It wasn't if I wanted to keep it. There was like 3 different things that we chatted to each other about. And one was the idea of keep it the same and announce it that was the same. The second one is go back to the normal way of doing it, where it's just open voting. The third way was to not tell people which one of those 2 I was going to do. So I would say, all right, everyone can vote for 10 jugglers, and it may be that if you vote for 7 men, I'm only going to count the first 5.
Yes.
Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll only count the first 5 jugglers, or the first 5 male jugglers, and if you vote for like 7 women jugglers, maybe I'll only take the first 5 of the women jugglers. Even if you want to vote for 10 women jugglers, which in the past people have wanted to do that.
Yeah,
so
I have done that.
Yeah, so me doing the equality thing of going, right, a maximum of 5 men and a maximum of 5 women. The most of the people last year who complained were complaining that they couldn't vote for 5 men, and only a few people complained that they couldn't vote for more than 5 women. Of course. Anyway, either way, it's just but I was thinking maybe I'll do it and not tell people. So loads of people could vote for like 10 men, and I'd only take their top 5. But it felt like too much of a gotcha. Yeah,
I advised against that.
I mean, I was never seriously going to do it, but this whole thing is game design. When you come up with a system, you have to put incentives in place. And really, one of the main incentives I wanted to do was that, like, if people put 10 votes down, all 10 votes count, because if you're doing it to reward people to get into the top, that's all I want. I want everybody's votes with 10 names in it to be equal, each one of them equal. And as soon as you say you've got to rank them in order to make sure that like the top 5 will get in, but then number 6 or 7 or 8 won't get in, so then you've got to start reordering things. I didn't want that to be introduced. I didn't want order to be introduced,
because also having an order again makes the counting process even more difficult. I mean, not that much more difficult. Okay,
order.
I think so.
Well, it depends. Yeah. The fourth idea that I had was to get back to normal voting. In other words, when I say normal voting, by how it was previously, where anyone could vote for any gender up to 10 jugglers.
Yeah.
But to do that slowly over the course of 5 years. So this year, the one idea that I had was to say you can vote for a maximum of 6 men and a maximum of 6 women for a total of 10.
Right.
So you can either go 5 and 5, or 6 and 4, or 6 and 3, or whatever it would be. And I would be able to do that pretty easily with my vote counting software. But then again, it introduces. But I thought that'd be really fun. In the next year, maximum of 7 men, and maybe over time I could like bring it out and see what changes year by year. Too complicated, too much stuff. But those are some ideas that I had. But this, like I say, last year, loads and loads of people, lots of controversy. Most votes ever.
It's the kind of thing. Bad advertisement is still good advertisement.
Yeah, all publicity is good. Like, what is it? All publicity is good publicity in a way. But then it became a cause. People wanted to vote for their group and their thing, and of course the Diabolists were annoyed that there was suddenly no Diabolists on the chart, and the football jugglers are annoyed that there's no football jugglers on the chart. But it really did get like light a fire under people. Maybe people didn't like it. Maybe people didn't like the results. This year there was a big drop off in how many people voted, which I don't see as a bad thing. I just think it was a return to the mean, but it did drop down to like 2015 levels of voting again after a few years of going up.
Now, as you mentioned that, shall we get to some actual facts? Like, how many people did vote this year?
Yeah, last year it was like 650 people, roughly 650 people voted last year, and this year was like just under 400. So there was a drop off in a few hundred votes.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
Right.
It's not like it dipped down below any other year. It was like it came
no,
other years.
It's just going up. Like the average goes up and down. Maybe next year more people will vote again. Who knows? I mean, I'd like more people to vote, but here's the thing: people, and this is a question that we just had here in the chat. So I think that's what they're saying is, and this is a big question that a lot of people, or I say a lot of people, a noticeable small number of people seem to be complaining about that there wasn't any South American jugglers on the chart. Last year and the year before, people were always complaining that there was no Japanese jugglers on the chart. And this year, suddenly there's Japanese jugglers on the chart and no South American jugglers on the chart. Yes, I see there's a question here. I'll get to that in a second. So what happened this year is that South American jugglers didn't notice the chart was happening. If they did last year, great, but they didn't this year, and not many of them voted, and then they come out and complain. Unfortunately, they were complaining on Taylor Glenn's video that I did Taylor Glenn
very
for,
handy.
And it's not cool. So I deleted all those comments, not because it's not a question it's not that it's not a valid question, but you can't start off with this juggler is a woman, and also she isn't as good juggling as most of the people that I have in my Instagram feed, or most of the local jugglers here in Chile or wherever it is. The chart is useless because the who I think should be there isn't in. So yes, B in the chat, just ask the question, okay? Just ask the question. I'm not sure what you're asking, okay? You need to just ask the question. So if the question is how do you vote?
They said how to
it all happens on YouTube, on this YouTube channel. 40. So there's a video called Top 40 Jugglers of the Year voting video, and you just make a comment with 10 names in it. It's super easy.
And also just to say that is this voting video is being uploaded generally at the beginning of December.
Yeah, end of November, beginning of December.
And it is a period of time when voting is open and you go and vote. Sure, if you miss that period, then you can't vote. But this is in all elections. If you miss the election, if you miss the general election, you didn't vote.
It's not an election. It's a poll. People are nominating people who they'd like to appear in something.
But it is a period of time where you can put down your vote. If you miss that, that's it. And it's always happening at that point of year. Just subscribe to his channel and you will get notified about it.
Yeah, I say this every year. Just subscribe and you'll get the results. Subscribe and you'll. I mean, there's a lot of other videos that come up here as well. Here's the thing though, with this, like, there are not enough Diabolists. There are not enough South Americans on here. I always try and make this as open as possible. People are asking like, oh, you should have like a quota for this kind of juggler and this kind of juggler. I decided to use the chart to make the and I mentioned this in the whole video and live stream and podcast that we did last year, is that the chart is to reflect the juggling in the what I think of as the mostly online, mostly English speaking language internet, like, you know, not like subculture juggling community, which is, you know, it's this generally reflects my juggling community, which is again is like mostly conventions, online stuff, and English speaking, which is a real pity, but it's very difficult. It's very difficult for me to do more than that, because what do I want to do? Do I want to and I even went through this last year trying to work out, and I went through it last year, which are the top languages, which are the top nationalities, which are the top ethnic groups, which are the top everything like that. And once you start bringing in those quotas, it gets a bit, it's difficult to do that. And I'm just one guy. And as just a one guy, it has to be up to the juggling community that if they want to vote for something, they do vote for it. But I can much more easily put in place a rule or a quota, but I don't see it as a quota. I see it as an emphasis from a game design point of view. I'm incentivizing people to find more jugglers from a more diverse view, and that if that means non-Americans, that's fine for you. The only thing that I can do easily is say 50% of the people in the world are women, 50% of the people in the world are men. If you look at the chart that goes across and you see how men and women were represented on the chart, there was a disappointingly high number of years when there were only 2 women or even 1 woman on the top 40 jugglers of the year. And I was trying as hard as possible for 3 or 4 years, more recently, to try and make it so there was more women on the chart. And I was I was telling as many women as possible, look, all you have to do is vote on the chart, and you can get other people, you can get other women onto the chart just by doing that. And it crawled up from 3 people up to 5, up to
9.
8,
yeah.
And then it got to 8 at one point, and then it went down to 4. And I was and that's what I did last year. I was like, what am I doing? Why am I breaking my balls trying to tell as many people as possible to vote for as many people, and I'm trying to game the system from... I'm the person who set the system up, but then I'm trying to game the system from outside the system. What I realized I need to do, this is a really easy fix. A really easy way to have proper representation, to make the juggling chart, the top 40 jugglers chart, reflect what the juggling world looks like to me, is by making it so people can value the juggling that women do equally to the juggling that men can do. And weirdly enough, that's why Delaney Bayliss is at number 1 for 2 years in a row, because she's a woman who can out-juggle the men. And that's amazing. There's nothing wrong with that. It's crazy, but it's really paid off. She would have been even without the rule change last year, again, because I'm looking at the numbers, I'm looking at the votes who come in. I can't say this exactly because you can only run this thing, you can only run the experiment once per year, or that's the only way you can get it to do. But Delaney Bales would have been clearly in number 1. Wes Peden is eminently beatable, considering Zach McAllister's beat him 2 years in a row. Yeah. And he's been beaten in the past by Thingy, who did ball spinny stuff, and the other guy who did ball spinning, Lauger, and then the other kid, Ofek Sneer and Lauger both beat him in the past. He's Wes Bean's eminently beatable, but as soon as a woman beats him, then it's terrible like that. Even though and
as soon as there are 3 women.
Yeah,
in
3
the
women.
top 3, then everybody's like,
then the
women.
complaints really come out.
For decades, there have been 3 top male jugglers at the top, and nobody was like, "Whoa, that's wow." Again.
I was even in the back when I did the top 40 jugglers of 2010, and I did a funny rap that everybody really enjoyed. There's even was it Joelle? It was the only one. The lyric was, "She's the only woman to break into the sausage fest," is what I'm saying back then. The very first video that we did about when me and Pola did the top 40 say time to vote for the top 40. We both it's not about who's the best juggler. And we're and also vote for some women, please. It's there. So again, this is pure. This whole project is purely to use the top 40 jugglers to turn, even if slightly, is to turn the eye of the juggling community, the mostly online, mostly English-speaking juggling community, just point it slightly off in slightly different direction, so it's not just purely rewarding who's done the best 9-ball pirouette this time, but instead who is contributing most to the juggling community, doing the most exciting thing. We both voted for Emma this year because she's doing a fun project, which is spreading fun tricks, and
also
kind of
keeping people engaged in it. And I think this is this year, what this year was mostly about. We're still living in the pandemic. in the whole world, and so there were not that many conventions people could go to, and these little projects where you had somebody put out my project is this, and then you can follow along, you can stay active, you can get motivated, and I think this year certainly really shows that, and the videos that people put out, and how like just the way to stay motivated this year was the main
that's
point.
why I've done this rule change last year for the pandemic, and also this year's, because when I go along to a juggling convention, 50% of the jugglers there are women, typically, unless you're at a WJF convention, but typically half of the people there are women, and they are contributing just as much to the convention. Half the people in the shows are women, half the people doing workshops are women, half the people juggling in the gym are women, half of the people like leading workshop, all the stuff that you want. Probably more than half of the organizers of the convention are also women, so that's what I wanted to like bring across more into this online space, where there isn't a gate where you have to be able to do seven ball multiplexes or 7-ball pirouettes at a like slightly good level, and then you can make it onto the chart, which is what happened for many years in a row. Like some 15-year-old kid would be like pretty good at 7 rings, and then they just make it onto the chart because of that.
We said all that last year in the previous video, so I don't think we should get back into that. I just wanted to say that this year's list of what came out of it is nice. I like it. I also like it because I'm being introduced to people that I didn't know before. And I think people should see that more like that. First of all, people should see it as a community project where people from the community share names and people and tricks and videos. All
right, let's get into some of these questions that we have over here.
Okay.
Someone asked a question earlier, said, are popular... this is Colloc59. Are popular YouTubers not allowed, like DJ Sturf, Juggling Joss, The Passing Zone? No, The Passing Zone have been on the chart before. There's no issue with The Passing Zone. Nope. I think if you look back in 2004, they made the chart. Maybe not as The Passing Zone, maybe as like Owen Mawson, Jonathan Wee. They put out some videos. It's totally fine. They got enough votes. Like if they'd have got like 3 more votes, they'd have been in the top 40 this year. Passing Zone, no issue with at all, because they are, doing fun stuff on the internet, doing all that kind of stuff. They are mostly known as Jugglers, with juggling, which is for jugglers and people interested in juggling. And I made this very clear with the voting video. If you watch the voting video, it says the chart is for people in the juggling community to say thank you to other people in the juggling community. Now, in the past, I have allowed some meme voters and stuff. One year, Rodney Mullen got onto the chart because it was suddenly a meme. Some jugglers got together and were like, "Yeah, we're gonna vote for." Is
that the skateboarder?
Yeah, skateboarder. Yeah. Rodney Mullen. Yeah, he just made it onto the chart, and I was like, oh, "Okay, whatever." And I realized, actually, I don't want. Like, who didn't make it onto the chart that year because there was a meme vote that got in? And that's what it comes down to. This year, some juggling memes group, Facebook group, were like, yeah, we're gonna get, who was it? I can't even remember. Some random juggler who can't even juggle very well. As a meme, people voted for him. There's no way that I'm gonna allow, like, some meme vote to knock. Like, who was down at, like, in those last few votes this time out? We had, like, Gina Cristiani, who is Gina Schwartzman. You saw her perform back at take part in the very first WJF competition. She won the women's event or something like that. If she had entered in the men's event, she would have probably come second. I mean, she's, like, amazing style of juggling. First time on the chart. There's no way that I'm allowing a meme juggler or some kind of person who only gets voted for because they have a large following outside of the juggling world, to suddenly flood the voting system and vote for them like DJ Sturf attempted to do last year. I'm not interested in that, and I even chatted with DJ Sturf online and stuff after we did a live stream, and people came in defending him. And again, it's very easy, and this is why I said last year as well, it would be very easy for Juggling Josh to get some of his 100,000 viewers. He could just say, go vote for me in the top 40 jugglers of the year, and then the top, he would be at the top. But Juggling Josh is a juggler, but a lot of what he does is for not that, and it's up to him. Like, again, if he wants to try and get a lot of people on to vote for him, but he makes it onto the chart. He didn't this year, but he has done most years, for the last few years, because he's good, and that's as I said. So
if jugglers want to vote for him, he can be on the list.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like Kenneth Duckworth just found out that in 2004, holy cow, I think he just worked out that the Passing Zone have been on the chart
And
before.
we just said it. I think it's just a lag.
Yeah. So I know it is.
Some other questions?
Well, yeah.
I know your mouse doesn't
Yes,
work.
I know. It's on the iPad down here, so it's on a separate system here.
Yeah.
That was the first question. Yeah, so it's not as if they're not allowed on the chart. Again, DJ Sturf, under his real name of, what is it, Sterling Franklin. That's where the Sturf comes from, Sterling Franklin. He got a few votes last year, genuine votes. He got a few genuine votes this year, but I literally had to go through last year and say to YouTube, the YouTube comment algorithm, this is not spam. This is not spam. This is because all of the votes coming in, it looked like YouTube thought his people were spamming the chat. Like, they're not spamming the chat, but like spamming the votes. So that's it. So next question is, what do you mean when you say simplicity? This is from Pip K. What do you mean when you say simplicity? Do you mean no apparatus? To be honest, I don't remember what we were talking about when we might have said simplicity there. So I don't know. I'm very sorry, Pip K. I'm not sure what I mean. Maybe ask that again. So, okay. Oh, DJ Sturf is in the chat. I mentioned the list last year once at the start of a stream. I wasn't trying to flood your list. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
It's not your fault.
It's not your fault. It's the way that I've decided, and that's why I made it explicit this year, DJ Sturf. Yeah. I'm not blaming it. I'm just saying it's very easy for someone who has 100,000 people watching them or 10,000 people watching them on a stream to accidentally overwhelm the voice of the juggling community, which even last year, when there was the most people chatting, the most people voting, came to about 600 people. So that's what I'm saying, is that like it's not as if people can't vote. It's just to overwhelm a small community. It's very possible for that to accidentally happen, despite it not being the best. Let me put it that way.
I know in other contexts that fans can get very insisting on things, and that can be healthy, and sometimes it is not so healthy. Yeah,
it's not that it's not healthy or not healthy. It's just this is a personal project.
Oh yeah. No, I meant in other contexts.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah. In my own world of a personal creative project, and that's why I did it. That's why I said, I know you're not a meme juggler. Yeah, DJ Sturf, I know you don't. Race director, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Last year, people voted for you because of your juggling and because of your participation in the IGA festival and the juggling medals and stuff. That's great. All those votes counted. Unfortunately, all those votes didn't count to enough to get into the top 40.
Some other question?
Okay. I know DJ Stuff. There's lots of people who broke records this year and didn't make it onto the chart. But again, it's nothing personal. It's just that, like, again, in the chart this year, in the voting video this year, I try to make it explicit why I do the chart, and it's to reward people who are doing stuff for the community and reflect the votes of the juggling community. So you don't worry about it, DJ Sterling.
You did
Franklin.
well.
It's great. It's no problem. You got plenty of votes this year. Again, not enough to get into the top 40. It's not like anyone's banned from the list. It's just that if I allow vote stuffing, even accidental vote stuffing, like last year. I mean, we're just repeating the stream last year,
yes,
so I'm not gonna keep talking
That's
about
why
this.
I think we should get on to the next question.
Let's go into this one. Kenneth Duck Zbeth says, if you were a prop, what prop would you be? I think I'd be one of Anthony Gatto's performance props, because then I would never hit the floor at all. So that's it.
Good answer.
Yeah. So any prop that you'd like to be?
Me.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Kuta Ohash's juggling one of his 3-ball juggling balls.
I would probably want to be a ring. I like rings.
Kenneth made a message about there about there are fewer known top women jugglers. I don't agree with that. I think if you're only talking about skill level, despite me saying every year that the top 40 jugglers is not about who's the most skillful, yes, there are fewer top women skillful jugglers.
You can't read it. It's too small.
That's no problem. We can read it. But I wanted to put it so, yeah, if we actually put it here, we can just look down there as well. What's the next question? Luke, what do you think of changing the title of the list to something like the top most influential jugglers of the year? We'll probably make the votes reflect the goal you want. No, because I don't want the most influential jugglers. I want people's favourite jugglers. The first few years, it went through some different iterations of names, and it was like the top 40 most popular, the top 40 favorite jugglers, but the top 40 jugglers, again, I always put the thing in the results as voted by you, and there's two mentions of it. There's a voting video where you can vote, which means and I always say you can vote for any reason, not if someone's the most influential or anything. And then the second time is as voted by you, and I think that's enough. If people don't understand that, it's fine, because it's my project, and I'm going to call it what I want. And over 19 years that I've done this, weirdly enough, the only time that people ever have any issues with it is, one, if there's too many women on the chart, and two, if there's not enough people of the kind of juggler that they are, be it nationality, region, skill, prop, or anything like that. Everyone who takes part and gets it. So that's it.
And I think here again we have the same phenomenon that happens everywhere else. You have a big majority of people who just go on the voting list, who just go to the video, put their jugglers down, and then they wait and see what Luke's put out, a video, then they watch it and are happy with what it is, because it is a bit of entertainment and it shows them people who they might not know, and they're happy with it. And I think that the majority of people is like that. And but unfortunately the minority is always louder.
Yeah.
What else do we have? Oh, I think we got the Pip said, one of you said you like the simple routine. I think that was me saying, I mean, with simple, I mean you have three objects, and you come up with all the different ways that you can do something with it. And it's not about, I don't know, fancy props, fancy machines, fancy whatever. It's the very clean and a minimalist approach to it. I like that, and I'm happy that this list, that this project enables me to put in what I like, and I like different things than Luke maybe like, or other people.
Well, that was Kuto Ohashi, and we both love the clarity of his juggling. So maybe clarity is better than simplicity. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not like it's simple.
Yeah,
but it doesn't make a big fuzz.
Right, so assuming only South American jugglers would vote for South American jugglers, do Scandinavians only vote Scandis? No, but like I say, this mostly reflects the mostly online, mostly English-speaking juggling community. So if there's a big group of people who don't speak English, they're probably going to have their own juggling community. And you've seen that this year as well with the and last year too with the battle juggling. A lot of these Latin American, South American, Central American, and of course in America as well. I think that's a time zone thing. People in that time zone get to watch the battling juggling, and the people in Europe and don't get to see it just because it happens at 4 o'clock in the morning.
You took part as a judge, as a guest judge on one of those, and you were up 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. Also, I think this is not the first project where that comes up. I know very much so in the European Song Contest. That is that is what happens. So it's not like we are here to resolve any of these issues.
Yeah, it just so happens that like half of the people that Juliana voted for are from Berlin, live in Berlin or work in Berlin and train in Berlin. Oh, I'm surprised. It's going to happen. Yeah, I mean, a lot of Americans voted this year, and like, what is it, 6 of the top 10 are from America? It's quite a lot.
US American.
All right, let's get through more of these questions here as well. Mentioned, that's DJ Sturf. I voted for Juggling Josh. Thanks, Kellen. I voted for you, Kellen. I'm not a meme juggler. Oh, pointing out that Steve Brill is actually quite good. Okay, probably is quite good. I did though when I saw like suddenly the votes start coming in for him, I did look him up on Instagram, and I saw this: Licensed to Brill. A juggling meme group started a campaign to vote for me as one of the top 40 jugglers this year, so I figured out I would post some videos of my juggling so people actually see what it is. And finally so yeah, I know, there's a video of him here. A juggling meme group started, next I can juggle 5 clubs all right. You gotta believe me. So here is, can you, where is it? This is Stephen Brill juggling. I'm not saying that he's not a juggler. I'm saying that I'm not going to, I'm really not happy with a juggling meme group, a group called Juggling Memes, voting for someone as a meme and that person knocking someone out of the chart Gina Christiani, and also he voted for himself. I mean, like, I'm not going to say people aren't going to get onto the chart if they vote for themselves, but Steve Brill, I'm not going to allow Steve Brill voting for himself as a meme to knock somebody else off the chart. I mean, that's a bit dumb. Okay, what's that go? Kenneth, weren't his votes thrown out last year though? Who? Are we talking about DJ Stuff?
Yeah.
No, DJ Stuff's votes weren't. His votes weren't thrown out again. They're there. Like, last year, he genuinely got like 3 or 4 votes from the juggling community, from people who voted for him.
This year as well.
And this year as well, he got like 4 or 5 votes for people from within the juggling community. Again, I'm not going to go into it. Like, if you don't think what I'm doing, like, I put a lot of work into this, like hours and hours a day, going through, literally looking up the YouTube usernames and other usernames of people who are voting, if there's any voting irregularities. Like, I do that. Okay. I wouldn't have known about Stephen Brill without this. He is indeed good. That's very funny about it. How do you feel about people counting the votes before the video is released? That's fine, because their vote counting method is different from my vote counting method. And if people want to count the votes...
It's public?
Yeah, it's a public source of data. Again, I don't... Like, there are some votes which don't get through because of the Google algorithm, and some I will delete. Not, I don't delete the votes, but some comments I'll delete and stuff like that. So, Pipk says, yeah, I love simple routines only because I feel I could try myself. I'm not good, but I love juggling. That's really good.
Exactly. And that comment is so good, because I think if we would have this list and everybody would only vote for the people who can juggle 7 clubs.
Yeah.
Just imagine how boring that would be. It would be so boring. Then you could just, I don't know. Yeah, I'm really happy that different people have different interests, and they can vote for different people for different reasons. And I think these lists now represent that way more than they did in the past. I'm not saying the past lists were bad, no, but I think what is represented now is just better. And we also get lots of comments of people saying, wow, this is impressive. I've never seen more diverse people in the juggling world in videos represented to me. So, okay. Yes.
Let's have a quick look. I just looked up this year. Sterling Franklin got 5 votes, the same number of votes as Sean Gandini. I mean,
well done.
Yeah, very good.
That's really good.
He got 1 more vote than Lauger Benjaminson this year. I mean, yeah, great.
That's really cool.
So, anyway, let's...
Anyway, he has a massive list.
Yeah, I've got a big...
with lots of numbers.
A lot of big spreadsheet here.
And it's really a lot of work.
If I can just go like this. This is part of my spreadsheet here. Again, there's not a lot to see on this one, and I'm not going to share all the results. So I'm going to now scroll back to where the thing was. Yeah. So this last year there was like, oh, I don't actually have it here. I don't have the exact number. I need to update it as well. Yeah. So last year, in total, there was like 800 votes last year. And the number of votes that actually got counted into the chart was 643. That's why I don't mind other people voting for me, because they might count every vote that's cast, and I make it very clear in the voting video this year especially that I've always thrown out votes which looks suspicious. You know, I have an entire section of the vote counting software that I wrote, literally called Hadrian de Crozel's subroutine or whatever it is, just to see if there's like this suspicious voting patterns of people who previously voted for Hadrian, and gets through as well. I think that's all the question. Oh, there's a question here. Why did you start performing, and what was your journey? Yeah, I started performing. I did performing arts at college, and I've always been involved in doing music stuff and stage stuff. If you're actually really interested, who actually asked that one? Why did you start performing? RV0009. If you check out the Patreon, I'm actually releasing the previous juggling podcast. It's called Family. So if you check out the Family podcast, it's me talking about how my family influenced my juggling, mostly because my dad's dying at the moment, and I want to say thanks to my father. And my father did listen to that podcast, and he very much enjoyed it, me talking about how much he did it. So, So next up, DJ stuff. I can't keep talking about this. I spent an hour on you specifically on last year's live stream about the top 40. So I can't keep fielding all of the questions here. So some of us use a screen name due to having been stalked in the past for privacy concern. Yeah, I understand that. I have a name dictionary which keeps track of which names come in. And don't worry, DJ Sturf, your name Sterling Franklin, which you've used in part of the juggling scene, is split off, like I say, from DJ Sturf. Someone says 72, and I'm not sure quite why Kenneth Duckworth said 72. Maybe he searced through last year's votes.
Yeah, I think there's quite a delay on what the chat.
Yeah, I know. It keeps going back to DJ Sturf, and again, I just said before that last year in 2020 there was like 800 comments on the video in total, but only 643 votes. So that's why you understand why people that the results that some people count are going to be different from my results, because I'm trying to reflect what I want to reflect. I'm trying to make the chart reflect what I want the chart to reflect. So there you go. Colin Cree says, no question, I want to say that it's great that there are so many women jugglers on the list. You did great. Thank you. We're trying. I love the top 40 because it introduced me to jugglers I wouldn't have heard of otherwise. So thank you, Luke. Yeah, thank you very much, Colin. Last chance for jugglers. It looks like the chat's on like a 2-minute delay. So throw in the stuff. Throw in what you have here as last questions, because we've got like 5 minutes left, and we can wrap it up here. Kellen says, thanks again for making the list. Always surprised how there's at least one juggler I don't know of every year. It always happens.
Yeah, it totally does.
I'm
to
just
me
gonna
as well.
while we wait for these last few things to come through. Let me actually just bring up now the this thing here. Oh no, well, right here. And what I'm going to do is just quickly go through some of the videos here. Should we do it?
Okay.
I can bring up this scene here in the chat, and we can go through. Yes, Kenneth is still saying DJ Sturf got 72 votes. Yeah. Anyone can get 72 votes.
Any thoughts about the rap? Why did you get back to the rap this
year?
Oh
yeah, actually, let's we could watch that instead. No, I don't want to play that because that's on the main video.
No, you don't have to. But
the reason why I don't want to do a rap is because everybody always talks about the top 40 jugglers of 2010 and how much they enjoyed that. Literally, people come up to me and sing it to me as time has gone on, which is fine.
People still know the lyrics by heart.
Yeah, people still know the lyrics, and I was like, you know what, it's time. Again, the top 40 jugglers for me is a creative project by me. That's why, like in the voting video, I actually listed that as one of the main things that this is. That it's great that everybody can join in, and I do it for the juggling community, and I like it to reflect what the juggling community wants. But also, it's a passion project of mine that I've now done for 19 years in a row. And the hardest one that I ever did, the hardest results video or the results thing I ever did was where I copied all of like 40 jugglers on the chart. I copied a trick by them. It almost killed me.
That was so hard. I remember that. I joined. I helped you.
Yeah. Some of it. That was really hardcore. It broke my body. I was actually talking to I think Zach McAllister. He was asking about it, and I was like, me trying to copy Doug Sayers doing 11 balls like made my arms fall off. It was so difficult. Like later on, I was like, oh, now I've got to do this thing with 7 clubs, and I was like, and it took me months to do it.
Yeah.
I'd love to do that again sometime, but I definitely need a juggling studio. I could do it because I had a juggling studio to do it, and so that's it. There. So and I just thought, hey, it would be really fun to make the music. A few people did say, hey, the music that you're putting in the background is that sounds like the up, down, in or out, who gives a shit video, and it was. And one person said, hey, the music for the video this isn't very good. Can I make some like slick beats to put behind? I was like, just wait until Thursday.
A reason.
Just wait until Thursday and I'll do it. So it just comes down to spending 3 days going. Oh, another thing that happened this year is that I accidentally deleted like 3 days worth of work of video editing, and I was so annoyed with myself, because it's literally that time when you're like, and do this, do that, and then there's one thing where like, oh, where's the space gone? Oh, I need to delete this thing from all the Leeds juggling convention stuff is still in the middle. Let's move that out, and then there's empty trash, and it's like, this is you can't undo this. Do you want to undo this? And I was like, yeah, no, because it's doing. And then later on, I'm like, where's all this? I'm opening this file and this whole thing. I was devastated.
Yeah, and it was really gone. Like we had this before, and then we found it somehow somewhere.
Yeah, this time it was gone. I don't know how I managed to do it, because it's literally the worst. It's the most amount of work that I've lost since 2003, when I made the first 3-ball juggling video. You know, the 3-ball and video thing that I did, and I exported it to VHS so I could play it, and then I lost the video, and that's why the next time, like later on, next time I performed it, and I was like, well, I need a version which isn't on VHS, so I had to recreate it all from
God.
scratch again, and that's the first time.
Awful.
So Joe says, thank you for making the list. Clever songs go with it. It's a huge effort. To be honest, the main effort is just to have that first burst of inspiration for a song. It's almost impossible for someone to say, write a 3.5-minute rap about juggling, and you're like, I don't know the way into this. And you can sit there, you can bang your head against the keyboard and the music keyboard and type keyboard for ages and go, what is it? And then I realized, what I want this to do is reflect the year. So in my head, I had the line, this is the thank you letter. My thank you to all the jugglers who've helped me get through 2021, because there's been no conventions and I've had injections and I've been not seen any other jugglers who online somehow shared enough about their juggling for it to recreate, to make the juggling community what it was this year, because it's all been online. It's been really tricky. I mean, we have been to a few conventions. I've been to 2 conventions, and so we have seen some other jugglers, but it's been really restricted. So once I had the idea of I want to say thank you, jugglers, and that's when everybody when I posted about them on Instagram, and people said, oh, thanks for doing it, and I was like, no, this year I was like, no, thank you for sharing your juggling this year, because you're the ones who helped me get through, among lots of other things. But jugglers have been a part of my life, has been a big part of my life, and
this was a nice way to put it, and I think that worked really well. I really I'm not good with words. Certainly not writing down words, and I'm not good with rhyming at all. I'm always so impressed with your rhyming skills. Yeah. What you come up with is
rhymezone.com.
You're cheating.
It's not cheating. It doesn't. No, to be honest, I don't use that. I only use that if I'm if I'm really stuck. Yeah, normally I can work out the rhyme in my head, but sometimes I'm like.
But a rhyme like McAllister canister.
The McAllister's not in the rhyme zone, but yeah, what I wanted to do is put. I mean, I don't not all of these jugglers, not all of the jugglers who made it onto the chart were the best. I wouldn't say the best. What am I trying to say?
The best rhyme?
No, they don't. There's not always the most interesting thing to say about them. But I did try and put in lots of Easter eggs into it. So if you've been following their juggling, you'll understand it. Like Wes Peden, I managed to get 2. I managed to get 2 Easter eggs in here as well. If life give you lemons, because
life is a roller coaster.
Yeah, life is a roller coaster, because his new show that he's working on is called Roller Coaster, and also if life is a
what?
Mike,
when did he ask a question?
Did Mike ask a question? I don't see. Is someone annoyed? I didn't see it.
Mike.
I know. Don't worry about it. Let's not worry about it. All right, actually, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt the rap live. Should we do it?
You're rapping live.
Well, I thought, I'll open this thing at the end. It's called Top 40 Jugglers of 2021 Thank You Letter.mov, which I never actually used that word at the end. But yeah, I could just attempt the rap live. Should we go for it? And instead of going through each individual, I'll just finish off with this. So let's give this a go. Should we do it?
Go for it.
I've got to bring this. I've got to bring this over here so I can see it a bit more. I say live. I'm going to read the lyrics as we go along.
Let's see if you can not stumble.
I wish I could do this. I wish I could do this without it. So, what's here? Some people saying stuff in the chat, but I can't. Again, the chat's delayed from where we are here as well. So let's finish off with this. And actually, maybe I won't do this. Maybe we'll just watch it and I'll press pause if something interesting happens.
Okay.
Or should we do that?
Let's do that.
All right, but I'm going to try and rap along at the same time and press pause when I fuck up. Here we go. It's that time of year. Oh no!
You can't hear it.
Yeah. Could you turn that big knob around a little bit to the right? Yeah, turn that about halfway. Turn it about halfway. Here we go. It's that time of year again. Another lockdown, years of pain. But jugglers make it shine, no doubt. Who's up, down, in or out? Kicking off the list in 40th place. Ariana always puts a smile on my face. 5 club tricks have never been cleaner. How long have I loved juggling by Gina? Kite 7 clubs, hey, no trouble. How about a pirouette? Make that a double. Feeling rough on the night of my second shot. Maggie smooth foot juggling picked me a lot. Daiko at 36, first time on the list with tricks with a twist that can't be Peter Smith's. Rolls and Traps and Flow by Brian. Simerson Medicine, thank you, I'm buying. Sarah's got club style of her own that made me grin while I quarantined alone. Tinker Toy Catapult, help me through the day. Kara's welcome back after 10 years away. Up, down, in or out, yeah, here we go again. It's almost 22, but let's pass it 2010. Many pages and many hoops thrown. If you like flow, then you are not alone. Lucy juggles knives and Lucy juggles higher. Lucy juggles low and Juicy juggles higher. Working at home long days can be tiring. Daniela picks me up because she's so inspiring. Wrong, ended fire clubs, knobs lies instead. Cynthia is cleverer, she's using her head. Flow so smooth and pattern so clear. Miriam is new on the chart this year. And for the 6th time, Laura's back again. What have you got for us now, Hera Koskinen? 52-week tricks is enough for me. Emma rolled herself up into the top 40. Boxes inverted and shovels galore. I like your type, Mike, give me some more. Up, down, in or out, who floats your boat? It's not about who's best when time comes to vote. Matsumutsu, colour me impressed. Tricks of the month winner if it was a contest. Catherine's rings looks remote controlled. The best at ring rolling or so I was told. If I need to pick me up when I'm feeling screwy, I make time to watch weird tricks by Louis. Luke is awesome, Luke is awesome, Luke is well actually at 21 or 40 is average exactly. With 8 tricks he's putting on a good show, but juggling Mo has a long way to go because Masahiro is now the best at club juggling. 7 clubs behind the back and no sign of struggling. And so perfect their pieces are art. Katerina's bouncing her way up the chart. I need my daily fix of Spencer's tech tricks. He'd be in the mix at the juggling Olympics. Up, down, in or out, a little thank you letter to all who shared their juggling and made my life better. Stuck at home all year, frustration. See Erin juggling and now I'm on vacation. I need energy to get me out of bed. I watch my fave vid of the year on his bird head. No one knows flow quite like flow, bringing flows and swings with things on strings. When life goes awry, who can make me sigh high? And she can make the birds fly. What's the hardest flow? Well, here's the facts. It's a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 by Max. I'm a big fan of juggling by Lisa. More satisfying than a box of cold pizza. Into the top 10, here's Lena Schuster. She picked me up when I was groggy after I'm a booster. And I'm a new fan this year of Dominic. Time and time again I think, hey, what a trick. Up, down, in or out, only 8 remained. Next year, we're going to do this again. No conventions couldn't catch a cruise, but Ivan told me all the good news. A juggler can lift you, make you enthusiastic. Kellen made me smile with a new round of Smash Tech. A roller coaster year ending in success. If life gives you lemons, just hope they are from West. Simple, not flashy. Cool, not trashy. Give me magic moves like Koto or Hashi. Let's do a deep dive with McAllister. See what tricks Zach has got in his canister. Bouncing many basketballs can take you far. Sailor, can you spell for me? Superstar. Mills Mess, Multiplex, Progress and Pain. This year Taylor is in second place again. Improving skills in air traffic control. For 2 years now, Delaney is on pole. Up, down, in or out. Who gives a what? I've just been informed that some people care a lot. Which is a lyric that didn't make it in. I don't know why. Alright. Oh, that's tiring. That's literally the first time I've ever done all of that. There's the first time I've ever done all of that in one go because I was writing in sections. I would like write 8 and then record 8 and then be like, oh, that's it, and then work in it. So that's enough of that. Holy fuck, that's takes a little bit. Yeah, it's like
3 minutes 40.
Yeah, like 3 minutes. 3 minutes 20 of actual rapping there. So let's wrap that up there. I think we.
Taylor is impressed.
Okay, something.
Did Jason Whitlock? Who's Jason Whitlock?
No, lots of people were voted for. I mean, I could check if Jason Whitlock get on the list this year, but no, if you just didn't see him there, he didn't get on the list. All right, that was a fun way to end the live stream. I think we're gonna wrap up the podcast there. We've been doing I said we'd go like. This is always what happens when we do podcasts. I'm like, it's going to be a 45-minute podcast, and then it gets an hour. I'm like, we should really start wrapping up. And then an hour and 10 minutes, I'm like, let's wrap it up there. So it's Remix J Johnson. Is this an album? No. I once did like a little LP of like 5 different music tracks and stuff. People just don't care about it. People just want like a dumb rap.
The pop stuff.
Yeah, I've done it a bit thing. Do it on SoundCloud or Spotify. No, but you can actually check out. You could. What can you check out? I'll say something people can. Patreon.com. Yeah, you go on Patreon.com. I do actually have some music. If you're interested in my musical comedy, I have this whole other career which jugglers don't always know about.
Website.
Yeah, if you check out my Bandcamp or whatever it is, or SoundCloud. Yeah, I do. I think I've got.
Website.
Yeah, I've got like 4 albums on Bandcamp /SoundCloud. Okay. So if you just check out lukeburge.com and click on musical comedy, there's whole albums for sale. I've got a whole box of CDs. Although I don't anymore, actually, because I've mostly sold them. So that's really good. So last question. I said, so that's it. Top 40 rappers of 2020. How was the least voted juggler of the year? I don't know that whoever got one vote. There's lots of people. Juliana got a vote this year, which is cool.
I got a vote.
Yeah, for Juliana Burridge. Which I thought was really funny. The person who's got the least amount of votes was a guy. I can't remember. There was a guy who, for his WJF promo video in 2004, went and juggled on the grave of another juggler. I can't remember who it was, but he went and juggled on the grave of Francis Brunn, and people actually negatively voted for him. So he actually managed to get a minus amount of votes. I can't remember which juggler it was, but that's the WJF being a great influence on people who are trying to because they were hey, let's make it into have these beef videos and promo videos, exactly like wrestling, like professional wrestling. Yeah. They're let's make it all aggro, like this. and one guy just took it too far. And was and now here's me literally juggling on the grave of somebody else. And you're all right, okay, right, that's it. Let's 441 Mills Mess all the time. Yeah, that's not me. That's I stole that totally from the Gandinas, where they're 441. I mean, it's a reference. I made a whole video about how that whole thing's a postmodern work. So thanks for the stream, top voting, everything else. Yes, thanks it. Let's wrap it up there. Thank you very much for. Oh, let's do this thing. Let's bring it back over to the splash screen for the end. We'll use one of these as the image.
Thank you so much for being our guests here for the hour.
And thank you very much for all the people who are our Patreon supporters. Head over to patreon.com/Luke Burridge. I see actually a few of our Patreon supporters here in the chat, so thank you very much. I know Pippa, is it Pip K? She's been a supporter in the past. Taylor, Zach,
and
Bo Juggler.
Ori. Hi, Ori.
And Ori.
It's a SFBRP listener.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you very much to all the people, and however many people have watched so far. I think we've had in fact, I could even bring it up, but there's 35 people watching now. It's been about that much all the way through. Thank you very much to everyone. If you've got any other questions at all, again, just send me a message, Luke@Juggler. The worst place to put your criticism on the chart is under somebody else's individual video or a place where people can see it in public. I'm not interested in having conversations in public about specific issues. DJ Sturf aside, who's whatever, it's great, he's here in the chat, I can talk to him and stuff, but if you've got criticisms or questions or suggestions, please bring them in. In fact, that's actually because DJ Sturf chatted to me last year and talked about this. I even said that I'll either do a separate award this year, or for some some jugglers outside of the juggling community, and maybe a separate thing for them. I didn't do that this year, but I did make it clear what in the voting video. I tried to clear up what the voting is for, and it's for the juggling community, by the juggling community, for the juggling community. So we need more DDR jugglers and jogglers. I was impressive. Joggling, I would love to get into joggling, but I literally feel ill when I do it. I did it, and I just got motion sick because I'm trying to track the balls and stuff in the air while juggling. Oh, it made me vomit.
Yeah, a friend of ours does the juggling stuff.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
It's good.
All right, that's it from us. Thank you very much, everyone, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye.